when I came out, I believed that the only way that I could be gay is if I left the church. And I also believed that, well, you say wickedness never was happiness, but when you're not happy anyway, there's not really much difference. So I wanted to experience what it was to be gay, and so I basically left and went to Chile for a semester abroad, and came out to my roommates down there, and they were really nice to me, but I could tell that it was a little strange for them. They didn't really believe me when I told them. But I made some really good friends down there, and I tried to go inactive, and it didn't work very well. I missed a couple weeks of church and felt horrible about it, and I had to start going back to church. I talked to the branch president down there, told him my situation, and he kind of ignored me for the rest of the time that I was down there. So I guess that's better than, something else. And then the missionaries were always at our apartment trying to teach some of the people I lived with the gospel, and so I ended up always having to help them and help teach the lessons, which was put me in just such a weird position. And my family loves me so much, but it's been really hard for them. And that was my greatest fear coming out, was that I would lose them. And so, yeah, but they still love me, and that's okay. One of the things that has been a big deal for me was I know the church is true, I know the gospel is the gospel. It's the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I know those things are true, and so how can when I also know that I'm gay, that I know them the same way. I know them. I have a testimony of both of them. I know that I'm gay the same way I know that the church is true, because I have this feeling deep inside that tells me so. And I can't distrust one without distrusting the other, because it's the same feeling. And I have learned that I shouldn't hate myself for what I feel, and I've learned that I shouldn't judge others, or that I should be kind, because I don't know that what others are dealing with might be just as bad, or they might be going through something similar to me, or completely different, but something that is really difficult for them. And I don't feel like being gay is bad anymore. You know, it's not, and it's not. You know, and even in our theology, it's not. You know, it's not bad to have these feelings. You know, it's, you know, loving people is, when you feel, I've helped people, I've encouraged people to go on missions and to become active and to deal with family problems, and I've been there for them, and part of it was because I loved them. I've helped people. I've been able to be a better friend both to guys and to girls because in one case I cared for them more than other people would, and in the other case I didn't have my own feelings getting in the way of what I could offer them. Going on dates with girls was it made me feel dishonest because, and well, actually a lot of things made me feel dishonest, and I always grew up and I would try to be honest about everything except for this one thing. I felt kind of like if I could be honest about everything else, maybe it would make up for not being honest about this. And I always knew that I was a liar, you know. So going on dates with girls, and I would try, and I loved them, you know. They were wonderful friends, and then we would go on a date, and it was just like it wasn't there, and so I had to, you know, and you can't do that to someone you care about. You can't lead them on like that. And I believe that God still wants me to have a family, and He wants me to be happy. I've heard this from a lot of other people that everyone has their own path, and I don't believe that. I believe that everyone has the same path to God, that it is a straight and narrow path. It's just, it's not the path that we think it is. That, you know, it's not going to Mutual and going to church, even if those things are wonderful. The actual path to get back to our Heavenly Father is the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's faith, it's repentance, it's baptism, it's making and keeping sacred covenants. And, you know, just because I'm gay and I feel this way doesn't mean that I am barred from that path. And it doesn't make me any worse of a person than anyone else. And yet, you know, you go to church and you hear how terrible homosexuals are because they're tearing down our society, and you can't feel that about yourself. You have to, you can't rely on other people to know that the church is true. You have to find out for yourself, because what other people are saying tears you down. And so you have to have your own testimony. And I just met a wonderful new friend of mine who says that he knows that the church is true, but he can't go because they don't accept him. And I've been very blessed in my own situation where, you know, I've been able to talk to my bishop and, you know, explain where I am in my life. And for any of you that is watching and feels lost or confused or alone or terrified about these feelings that you have inside, and you just want someone that you can talk to. There are people waiting and ready to talk to you, and you don't have to be alone. This is not something that you have to keep to yourself. You can share it with others, others who will care about you and want to help. I came in today to do this because I want to let you know that it's going to be okay and that everything will work out. That you don't worry about the small stuff. Don't worry, that it will be okay.